Yeah, hello and welcome to my today's short hands-on or review or whatever of a Fotga DP500IIS baseplate system you can see here. To be precise, this is the F2 edition, so the upgraded one from the end of 2014. I don't know if they call it now 2015 edition. So there are two editions available. This is the F2 with the height adjustability feature you can see here. And there's also the F1 edition, or the older one, available a little bit cheaper without the height adjustability feature. Very important, I personally don't recommend to get this newer edition because it's more expensive and the height adjustability feature is only helping about 1 centimeter, I have to say, from 4 centimeters or from rod to top up to 5 centimeters now. So if you really don't need it that much for a special mat box or so, which isn't height adjustable, yeah, just get the older one. Also really important is that this is from scratch on quite high already, especially compared, for example, to the TILTA I also have here, which is my main second rig. As you can see here, the difference is major, I have to say. And so it's really not necessary to have one additional centimeter of adjustability. Also really important is the fact that this base plate system is also separated. So for example, you can move the top part to the front, to the back, and you can mount the base plate, not the base plate, the tripod plate where you need it. You can mount it vice versa, for example. Let's unmount this to show you this better. You can mount it vice versa, for example, this way, also for example, on this point here, on this point here. There are multiple, or so 2 3/8 and 3 1/4" frets. Also really important, you can also move this clamp, for example, from the outer edge to the middle or to this side here, if you want the additional supported frets, which are a little bit more stable than the standard frets, by the way. So I recommend to use that one or that frets. Also really important is very nice adjustable, so clickable in the right direction, clickable knobs, so they are not in the way, for example, to other accessories, which is the same with the TILTA, by the way. Really important is to know that this baseplate is also usable, or this base rig system is also usable with tripods which don't offer adjustable QR plate on top, because here you just screw on, for example, here or so, and then to balance out your head, you just move the camera to the front, to the back, where you need it. You can even use, for example, bigger lenses with such a standard tripod head, because you can also mount, for example, the camera at the back here. And then, for example, you have your big lens at the front, your lens support somewhere, because the lens, if it's a bigger one, for example, so the bayonet isn't that of forced or isn't getting the full load from the lens. You can also mount the follow focus, and your head is balanced again. Really nice is also too that, for example, let's say you are changing a lens, and for example the length of the lens is changing. You just unscrew it, adjust the camera, and you're ready to shoot again. Or for example, you're changing the lenses, and the lens is inside the mat box, move it back, change the lens, move it to the front again, and you're ready to shoot. So really nice, especially with tripods, and if you're a minimalistic shooter, for example, only with your system camera, DSLR. You can even mount a camcorder on top, because yeah, it's also not that bulky. For example, with the TILTA is way bulkier because you have the extension sideways, which also offers other pros, I have to say. But all in all, I have to say it's very universal. Really important to know is, according to the extension of the TILTA, and this is the Pro of the TILTA, at the left side you have this option with this 1/4" fret, you can see here. So you can mount here, for example, a magic arm or a flash adapter, like this one here, for example, which I bought as additionally for the TILTA base rig system. But the problem is, on the left side it's not that usable, because, for example, you have the follow focus at the front, there are the HDMI, the mic in, the headphone out cables, and so the space is very limited at the left side. It's also no use to use the baseplate vice versa, because then there is the grip above, and you need a space, or at least a little bit of space, for a magic arm or for a flash adapter. you can turn the direction from the back to the front, so maybe there is a chance to mount a magic arm at least with a small base mounting plate and with a small ball joint. But it's better, for example, with the TILTA, as you can see here. The TILTA is normally designed to use it with the 5D Mark III, so this is protecting the outer part of the 5D Mark III, and there is a battery compartment. And here it's better because even with a smaller camera, and I even use this with camcorders, with every camera it's very nice because at the right side, if you're shooting video, it's not important if there is, for example, this extending part. Here you really can mount a wireless receiver, for example, Sennheiser G2, G3, or a Sony system, or a directional mic, or for example, I also used it to mount my Olympus LS3 audio recorder. Really, really nice. You don't need an additional magic arm, just that one. By the way, this part here, the small rod, which is clamped in, as you can see here, and the top part, the flash adapter, they are not included with the TILTA system. I had them already lying around. But even if you only get, for example, this flash adapter and mount it directly here on the 1/4 inch mounting point, like on the Fotga on the left side, you can also put, for example, a wireless receiver on there, or audio recorder is also possible, for example, but not with the Fotga. By the way, here you can also move it from this side to that side, and also vice versa mount it, which is also not possible with the Fotga, which is a little bit of a shame because here you can change the direction, but on the right side it's just there's not enough space, and it also wouldn't make sense to make here mounting points, to be precise. Also really important to mention is, especially compared to the TILTA, I got the TILTA even cheaper than this one, so if you really find the TILTA cheaper or at the same price or just a little bit more expensive, I highly recommend the TILTA. First, because of a 1/4 inch mounting point, and secondly, according to the overall quality. I mean, it's not bad, the Fotga, this base system, but I have to say the coatings are way better with the TILTA. The rods are way better coated from the TILTA, and also the overall coating here, for example, is better. I used the TILTA now for a few months, and I see maybe one scratch at the edges or so, or two, maybe max the edges are a little bit used, or the coating is gone at the edges a little bit. But here I really have already a few scratches, small ones, just by testing it. And this is a huge difference. And also really important to know is, by the way, as you can see here at the back, the rods are on the same height, and you can also test it by putting it on a table, for example, and if it's standing by itself nearly, then it's on the same height. But as you can see here at the front, this one is shorter than that one, which is a little bit annoying if you're buying a rig and one rod is longer than the other. And this seems to be a common problem because even on the product pictures from different sellers, yeah, I saw already that one, after I purchased it and after I recognized it, I recognized that one rod is also longer on the product pictures. Quite funny. By the way, also really important to know is that I first thought that this is really not usable because as I got it, everything was loose. The complete top plate twisted in both directions, horizontally. And the problem was that, for example, and I'm extending it now, the middle rod was loose and both outer directional rods or locking rods were also loose. The problem is, yeah, you need to unmount it and screw it down once as you get it. Though till now nothing got loose anymore, and I tested it now over 2 weeks. And nothing got loose and nothing is twisting anymore. So you just need to do this once. First, and I will show you this first from the bottom. As you can see here, there is a small screw inside there. You need a T10, and this is a Torx 10 screwdriver to lock this down again. Just you use the screwdriver and turn it clockwise, and the middle part is locked down. And you also need to screw down the directional pins here, but you need to remove the top screws. 2 are already out, so I don't need to unscrew too much to show you that. Just use the Allen screw, which is included. By the way, there are two included. One for the top plate for this screws, and one is for the tripod plate, for example, to reposition the clamp on the tripod plate. Really important to know is the Torx screwdriver is not included. As you can see here, the middle rod is you need to lock down from the bottom with this screw, with the T10 screw, and the top part you need to lock down here and here, or to screw down again and tighten down these two screws. These are standard screws, as you can see, not Phillips type, and then it's really working like a charm. Also really important is to know, try to reposition this screw here, because it's also a repositionable, as you can see here, with the spring. Try to lock it down so you can extend it if it's in that position, because as soon as you have a rod here, otherwise this pin is not moving any further, and in that position it's working like a charm. For example, you can extend it or close it down and turn it that way, for example, so you're still below the top screw for the body, and it's locked down and there's nothing moving. Just a few small tips if you really consider to buy this. Also, a little bit of a difference, by the way, is that here are no grooves, so it's not possible to hammer it open, for example, if you lock it down too tight, which is also a little bit better with TILTA, by the way, because here you get a stepped screw, which is nicer because you can still use a screwdriver and a small hammer and hammer it up open, for example, if it's screwed down, if it's screwed down too much. Only small differences, but I have to say I like the TILTA more. So if you really consider to buy such a system, also consider the TILTA system, because yeah, the Fotga has its problems and its cons. By the way, you can see here already, I mounted it maybe, I don't know, 5 times, 6 times, and the rods are completely scratched already. And this is also not the optimum, I have to say. So yeah, do I recommend it? If you get it dirt cheap, check out the older edition, because as already mentioned, the height adjustable feature is not that necessary. Yeah, that's it more or less. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I always try to answer everything. Also, don't forget to subscribe. There are coming other videos like the Aperture VS2 video, monitor review video, or the Master HD M501H monitor review. So stay tuned. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.